The mooch is loose. Anthony Scaramucci's on the phone with us. Do you think that President Trump might be doing any drugs?
That I don't know, but just take a look at tapes of him from 2015, 2016, observe him at the G7, look at his speech mannerisms during the hurricane situation over the weekend. There's something going on there. He's missing syntax. He's misphrasing punctuation. His vocabulary is becoming extremely limited, and then you're finding him going on these incessant tweet storms, which are just abnormal. 122 tweets over the Labor Day weekend. You've got a crisis going on in the Caribbean, and this guy's tweeting about Deborah Messing. I mean, what we're doing in the country now, Dominic, is we're normalizing abnormal behavior, okay? It's as like if the country had a father figure and the president is the father figure of the family of the United States, and this is a very diseased dad, if you will, someone that's operating with a lack of mental acuity and tremendous dysfunction and anger. We have to step in now. Like a good parent or a good family member would say, okay, enough is enough. Let's remove this guy from the position that he's in. I'm not afraid of this person, and I can take this person on intellectually any day of the week. But what I'm going to need some help from is politicians in the political class have now got to start telling the truth and explaining to the American people what they're seeing, so that we don't end up with 4 more years of this disastrous nonsense. We have this maniac, this orange maniac in the White House, okay, that's going after private citizens in the country, okay, and for some reason, a very large group of people in, whether it's Fox News or people in the media or some of his supporters are hyper-normalizing that. They're trying to pretend that this bizarre dysfunctionality and this bizarre invective that's coming from the President of the United States is somehow normal or somehow justified. It is not.
Have you ever witnessed or heard reports of President Trump flirting with the White House staff?
Okay, so again, I have heard reports of that, and I think that is one of the problems that took place last week, but I don't know that close enough, but you've heard reports of that. That's why you're asking me of that, and I've obviously heard reports of that. I'm not, in my time in the White House being very short, I did not see that. And so I'm not going to be able to confirm that. But like you, yes, I have heard those reports. And just so you know, I love my country so much that I'm willing to speak out about this as forcefully as I am, which, puts my family in harm's way, frankly, and also jeopardizes some of my business interests. And it's obviously caused a row inside the Republican Party. I mean, the people basically hate his guts, but they're afraid to admit it. But I think the dam is going to break, Dominic, and when it does, I think people will look back and say, okay, there were courageous people that were willing to speak truth to power to help the country.
Now, do you receive any death threats, or do people come after you?
I have, certainly. Absolutely. No, I'm unfortunately... the president has given a rise to a license for hatred, a rise to a license of racial tension, and he's given a rise to a license of an expression of anger. And we have a terrorist situation going on inside the country. It just happens to be homegrown domestic terrorism. These mass shootings, if they were from a foreign agent, if you will, there'd be mass pandemonium. But you have a domestic terrorist situation going on, and he's done absolutely nothing from a leadership point of view to curtail it or stop it. And so forget about my life being in danger.
How are you getting these death threats? Is it through social media? Or?
Yeah, social media, phone calls, letters, stuff like that. Yeah. No, I turned most of the serious ones over to the FBI.
Last question, what celebrity do you think would make the best president?
Wow, I got to really think about that. You're putting me on the spot. But I promise you the next time that you invite me on, Dominic, which I hope is soon, I'll have an answer for you.
This is Anthony Scaramucci, and you're listening to the Domenick Nati Show.